All them black people getting the jobs that we white people used to have.
Politicians, well, that's about the only sin I've never committed. I mean, the one thing I've never done
the brakes.
is sniff the throne of someone in power.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
I've never done it.
He wasn't doing shit for his job.
Pretty soon we're gonna be calling this country.
Don't know. I have to respond by saying again.
WTF? Who's in charge?
That's your data, dumbass.
Sucking us dry, and I love Tesla.
Mikey's just out there pressing all the buttons.
I'm out here
I feel
freestyling.
crap.
It really was.
I'm out here freestyling, baby.
Hi, I'm Tim, and this is Unboxed Politics, the political review show. As you can see, I made everyone late.
Yeah, you did.
We weren't going to call you out on it, Tim, but
I'm glad he fell on his sword because I was definitely going to throw a sword directly at him if he
Yeah.
didn't say something.
So I had some terrible internet issues around
I didn't realize
8:30
the title
my
was
time.
made everyone late.
Convenient.
So I apologize for making the show late. I don't usually make it this late.
we're keeping our elbows.
Round one, sorry.
I'm gonna need you to be drug tested.
Tim's on the juice.
So before we get into the show proper, I just want to say that this week has been kind of fucking crazy, and it's going to be reflected in the show. Because you know, the Republican Party is currently tearing itself apart,
Good.
and
Call her Rhino Taylor Green.
there's gonna be at least one really shocking review. I'm gonna put it out
It's
there.
a really major mistake and an insult to me.
So I have co-hosts. They are on the there's Ali.
Keeping our elbows up, bud.
Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight.
Wow.
There's Mark. He's almost Canadian.
Hold on.
There.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
You heard what she said.
I don't like Elon Musk. I'm gonna say it 50,000 times.
And super producer Mikey Famine.
It's bleach blonde, bad built, butch body.
Copyright
I
strike.
look like the highlights. I'm not supposed to be there.
Oh yeah. And me, your host, Tim.
Honka honka, we're all gonna die. Anyway,
We are all gonna die.
Sucking us dry, and
God damn it. And
That
also
one's now
before,
titled with your name, Tim.
I
It does
know.
say Tim sucks us dry.
Cool.
It was Mark's idea.
Before we get into the show proper, I don't think we could go into the show without recognizing that something terrible has happened in Mark's state, and we should give him a moment to talk about it.
Oh, I gotta talk about it some more, man.
Well, you haven't talked about it on the show, so
That's fair, I guess. Yeah, so what day were the protests? Was it Saturday?
Yep.
That
yes.
sounds right. So Friday evening, radicalized moron dressed up as a police officer with a police tricked out vehicle to what he could do, broke into two representatives' homes and shot two Minnesota representatives and their spouses, and Melissa Hortman, who is the leader of the Minnesota House, and her husband were both killed. And I remember, like, myself, my wife, and her sister were driving to the No Kings protest that morning when that came through. And they were like, everybody go home. Governor Walz wasn't going to speak at the rally anymore. And we're like, fuck that. We have to go. Like,
right.
At this point, like, political violence is just something we all have to accept. And we can either let them crush us by just being passive, or we can stand up to these Nazi assholes. So, I don't know. One wants to be like, thoughts and prayers to Representative Hortman's family, but like, that's not enough. Like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, we need to fight for change to make their unwanting sacrifice mean something. Luckily, they caught the jackass. I guess the last thing I'd like to say on it is that Luigi Mangione, who killed a CEO, a terrorist. However, the gunman that tried to kill one politician and tried to kill another
showed up 2 others' houses and they weren't there.
Yep. He's not a terrorist, apparently.
He's white. I mean, he didn't kill a white person. I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
That motherfucker's a domestic terrorist. Front, back, center.
Yeah, I think. And he had a list of like 25 other reps from the state and outside the state and everything that he wanted to target. So
yeah. There is literally no excuse.
No.
There's none. And the people that are making up excuses for it
are just as horrible.
They're monsters and enablers.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous game that they deal. They just can't, everybody wants to let's just keep turning up the temp. Let's keep turning up the temp. All right, keep turning it up. It's going to get hot by your house next.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, this needs to calm down immediately. Well, no, you don't get to control where the fire goes.
I think we've all, except for maybe Ali at this point, have experienced violence, mass shootings, political or otherwise, in our states in at least the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently Minnesota has all the crazy jackasses.
I had an uncle that was an RCMP officer, and he was shot and killed in the line of duty.
There you go.
And that happened a couple hundred miles away from where I live.
So we've all been adjacent to
buy an American.
Yeah, buy an American. God, Ollie.
Yeah, I gotta stop.
Buy an American fleeing the law in the United States.
Why hasn't Canada
kicked out all those criminal American illegals?
Build a wall.
Build a fucking wall, Ollie.
Yeah. This was back in the 80s, so it was long ago.
We're keeping our elbows up, bud.
No, wall going up now. Now that we're aware of it, walls being built, official.
We're exporting our violence to Canada.
Export violence everywhere.
Anyway, what I was gonna say is, we've all been adjacent to the violence, political or school mass shootings or whatever it is, and the right is always like, it's not guns. At some point, you gotta fucking try it's guns.
Have we ever tried limiting the guns?
Have you ever tried?
There'll be mass knifings then, Tim.
I don't know about that because this is a big ass country, and I think I could get away from you.
Yeah,
like you're not gonna have
that, but like, yes, somebody armed with a knife is dangerous, but you can pick up a chair and beat them up with it.
Right? Fire extinguisher
or anything like that, right?
Bottle,
fucking hockey stick.
They got knives. Fine.
A baseball bat. That motherfucker does real good.
I have an axe. Look at how many weapons I have on my walls.
Wait, you have a knife
over there.
Okay, I got in my car. Now you can't get at me.
Yeah,
right.
Or you got a knife. I have a sword. My reach is better than yours now.
Yeah.
This is one of my Christmas gifts last year from my brother that I keep under my computer. I think I'm fine.
Mine's just out of reach, but I could get to it before.
It has this knife has 3 knives.
I have knives within reach, and I'm not even American. Look at that thing.
Oh, nice.
Welcome to Unboxed Politics, the knife podcast, where we show all our knives.
Welcome to Unknifed Politics.
YouTube, how close is this to a content strike?
I think we're okay. I think we're pretty okay. Like, there's people whose entire channels are dedicated to knives and guns and all that stuff, and they do just fine.
I don't want to, but that closet behind me is full of swords and shields.
I mean, look at Tim's arm, dude.
Oh yeah, there's my knife.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Put it down. Put it down.
Wait, he's got a knife.
He's got a knife. You cannot go to the UK. I'm glad you thought your little fucking tattoo was cute. You cannot go to the UK now. You better wear long sleeves. We're gonna fucking get him down. Cut the knife off of him.
So maybe we should try. Maybe we should try. You know, the guns. Maybe we should get rid of.
I have a big everybody dog. Look how scary he is.
So I hear what you're saying, Tim. But as a black man in this country, and you want me to disarm now?
Mikey, how about this? Only black people can have guns.
Now you're cooking with gas. Let's get this get them guns out there. Hands out.
So I'm having my tank delivered next week.
You know what? I swear to God, if they did for some magical reason take away all the white people's guns and now the black, there'd be like 10 more robberies, and then I think everybody would be like, "Oh, we're good now."
Like robberies went up a little, homicides went down.
Yeah. The amount of just rampant shooting motherfuckers you have never met before, or ones that you've seen shit online about. Yeah, that wouldn't happen. Not like that.
Here's a radical thought. How about we just take the guns away from the cops?
Well, yeah, they don't need them.
No,
the guy who missed Trump was
unfortunately-
the guy who missed Trump was wearing a Demolition Ranch shirt. That's funny because I watched them.
Yeah.
They blow up stuff, man. It's fun. They'll shoot like a fucking oxygen tank with a Barrett 50 cal. Like in a quarter, and it's just like blam blam. I'm like, yes, yes.
I do have one more thing to call out there. And Tim, I would like this to be on the dishonorable mentions.
Okay.
Utah Republican Senator Mike Lee.
Oh yeah, we talked about him.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Who posted, what was it? This is what happens when Marxists don't get their way after Representative Hortman was murdered.
Right.
Ow.
Fuck you. Go crash into the sun.
Like if they reelect him,
fuck
you
Utah.
know what I mean?
Fuck the state of Utah if they reelect.
You know what, Mark?
I will move to Utah with me and 1,000 of my closest friends, and we will flood that fucking district. We will live there for fucking 6 months or whatever the fuck it needs to be to get your ass the fuck out.
Yep.
Because that's fucking crazy talk.
I'm down to go. Like,
you know what, Mark? I'm going to create a new list. It's going to be called "Fuck This Guy."
Fuck this guy. Okay.
Or woman.
This.
Well, no.
No, they get the same phrase.
Fuck this guy.
Fuck this Republican. Come on. It's always a Republican.
Yo, Jake Tapper is close to being on that motherfucking list at this point.
Yeah. Jake Tapper is close to
lying bitch. Getting sick of his garbage.
Or who was the mayor of that town near you who was super corrupt and then got voted out in the primary? She should be on that.
You were talking about Tiffany Henyard, super mayor. You better stop.
There you go.
Super mayor.
What's the mayor's name in New York there that got removed from office and now he's running again?
Rudy
Cuomo.
Cuomo.
You're talking about former Governor Cuomo.
Oh, governor. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not quite on the fuck that guy list is going to be like.
But he's pretty close.
He's close. But for the grossest of the gross.
Yeah, for real.
I'm just thinking for somebody that's not a Republican that could be on that list. That's what I was trying to come up
like
with.
Eric Adams is going to earn himself a place on that list. Yeah.
So,
current mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Fucking foreign agent.
Anyway, Mark doing the real on the ground reporting in Minnesota.
We love you, Mark.
Fucking protesting anyway. Fuck those people.
Yeah, fuck
You
those
did have a
people.
lot of fucking sex shit, remember? Like,
Yeah, it's
he
true.
might be
It's
on the
true.
fuck that guy.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Let's get into the fun.
This list is gonna get
stuff.
real long.
It is. Well, remember, there's still
Why would-
dishonorable mentions. There's dishonorable mentions, and then there's fuck that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have to only think about. You're right, Tim. It doesn't have to be the Marianas Trench only.
But Donald
only.
Trump should also be a fuck that guy.
Without question. And
Oh.
Elon.
Well, but
And
see,
Hegseth.
And Hegseth.
Yeah.
these
and
guys.
Gnome.
Well,
Hey,
hold
hey,
on.
Pineapple.
Gosh,
These people were reviewing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Eric Adams, he ain't on the list. He's not.
Yeah.
He hasn't been
He's
reviewed.
just a fuck that guy.
He's just the fuck that guy. Same with Mike Lee.
I see what you're saying.
He's just the fuck that guy.
I see what you're saying.
These are guys
Okay.
we've reviewed.
So Trump
They're not even
Trump is on
honorable
the
mentions.
Trump is on the top 5 of the bad people.
Yeah.
So is Elon. So is RFK. So is
Yeah.
Ollie's neighbor Jordan Peterson. So
Fuck
is
you.
Greg Gutfeld.
You lent him sugar. I know it.
He came over for an egg, and you were like, sure.
Dude, in the last 2 weeks, I had
what?
Jehovah Witness and fucking Mormons knock on my fucking door.
An egg.
Last 2 weeks.
An egg
An egg.
with his Kermit
on,
the Frog
Ollie.
voice.
Hi, there were some Jehovah's Witnesses just down the street.
Mikey, do you have a video loaded, or should I? Should
That worked out. I already got you home,
I?
dog.
You already got me. All
Yep.
right.
Oh, wait, I have to do
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
You heard what she said.
Tammy Duckworth.
Senator Duckworth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In response to my colleague from
Buckle up. I'm not even pushing no buttons.
Oklahoma, I believe the Secretary of Defense has just responded last week and admitted that the $1 billion mission that he led against the Houthis, who do not have a navy, has not restored the transit of U.S. flag commercial vessels through the Red Sea, and in fact has resulted in the loss of 2 F-18 Hornets to the tune of $60 million apiece, as well as, I believe the last count was 7 Reaper drones to the tune of another $200 million. You are blowing through money like my fellow cadets and I did in our first Liberty after basic camp. Luckily, I didn't end up with a questionable tattoo. Your failure is
Oh shit!
Wow, yeah, I remember saying that. That's a sharp.
You sent classified operational information over Signal to chest thump in front of your wife, who, by the way, has no security clearance, risking service member lives in the process. You blew the $1 billion fight against the Houthis, whom, again, as my colleague says, has
Get
no
the
navy,
kids out of
and
the
yet you
building.
lost all of those aircraft. You've created such a hostile command environment that no one wants to serve as your chief of staff or work with you in other senior DoD leadership roles. But what we should all be talking about more than all of this is that you have an unjustified, un-American misuse of the military in American cities, pulling resources and attention away from core missions to the detriment of the country, the war fighters, and yes, the war fighting that you claim to love. I don't know if this is because you are too inexperienced and incompetent to understand the real threat facing our country.
Damn.
Or if it's because you are just an unqualified yes man who can't tell the president how to keep Americans safe. You are focusing on renaming basis for Confederate generals. You said just now to Senator King that to a man and to a woman, we would rather be associated with the old Confederate names. Well, I am one of those women. I served at Fort Rucker, Alabama, a base that was named for a traitor who took arms against the United States of America, led troops who killed Americans. It was renamed for Mike Novosel, a Medal of Honor recipient who, in his citation for the Medal of Honor, includes that he saved 29 American lives, to include hovering backwards in a helicopter towards an enemy bunker where a wounded American was laying and saved that person, including after being taken fire himself. I know a little something about what it takes to fly a helicopter when you've been hit by enemy fire. That was heroic. I'd rather be associated with Mike Novosel than a failed Confederate traitor. I don't know whether you are inexperienced or too incompetent, but I wonder when you will actually focus on our national mission. We know that California is just a deliberate, systematic, political, and dangerous campaign led by you. We should not be using our military to play cops against Americans. General Kane, as chairman, a key part of your job is to coordinate military planning across the joint force. Is the department currently incorporating into any military plans expanding the use of the reserve forces to include the National Guard or active duty troops to support domestic law enforcement, including in other locations in the United States?
Senator, you know, we careful.
So no, General.
Well, it's not really a yes or no question, Madam
Yeah,
Senator.
it is,
We
though.
we plan all kinds of different things.
I think it is
I'm
a
not
yes or no
aware of
question.
I'm not aware of anything, but the reason why I'm answering is the tags may be looking at something that I'm not aware
What
of.
are you doing at your level? You're not aware of that happening at your level? Because we know that on his first day, President Trump directed U.S. Northern Command to revise its unified command plan to add new planning requirements to combat, and I quote, criminal activities. A series of follow-up executive orders continue to redirect DOD priorities to supporting domestic law enforcement, including one in April that tells DOD, and I quote, use national security assets for law and order. In other words, do law enforcement's job. I'd like to enter these executive orders into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Is there objection? Without objection, so
Secretary
ordered.
Hegseth, you say you are focused on warfighting and warriors. These are your words. Yet you are diverting untold DOD resources and attention to fundamentally non-military mission of domestic policing. Across the country, we have qualified police officers who are trained for that mission. They know those streets better than the Marines you deploy to Los Angeles, who normally focus on the Indo-Pacific. And you recently approved 700 more troops in 3 other states to do admin and logistics works for ICE. You say all of this is valuable training, but I would much rather have our troops do tough, realistic training relevant to high-end combat. Instead of typing in spreadsheets for ICE, they should be conducting live fire maneuver exercises. Instead of patrolling American neighborhoods and standing in front of federal buildings, they should be rehearsing call for fire missions. We have local police who can stand in front of those federal buildings. And the list of distractions goes on. You are encouraging the DOD workforce to go work for DHS in increasing numbers. You're pulling the military away from facing foreign enemies who literally say things like death to America. And you're putting troops with weapons aimed at Americans.
About putting that on the soundboard,
Mr. Secretary,
but-
let the military get back to its real job. Stop forcing them to do DHSs. And if you want to be the DHS secretary, maybe you can apply for that job when you're fired from this one due to your incompetence.
Wow, damn.
That was like fire.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
so
it's.
much
I think
fire.
I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
That's a
Like,
strong S tier. I don't feel the need to vote.
I don't feel the. I was thinking the same thing, Mark. I was just thinking, just give her an S and just let's be done with that. Holy fuck!
Put her above the guy.
Shouldn't have to do all that to him.
like the tattoo comment. I mean, she's definitely targeting the big one that he's got right here on his chest, right?
That fucking, what is it? The Templar
about.
cross or whatever?
Yeah, the swastika, right? So, fuck.
No, it's not a swastika. It's that.
It's the
It's a
Templar
cross.
cross.
Yeah, it's the cross
Oh,
with
is it?
the
I
extra
thought, no,
stuff. Or Jerusalem cross. Chad,
I
help
think
me
he's
out.
got a swastika on his
I
chest.
think it's a Teutonic cross, but I'd have to. Let me figure it out.
It's on his chest like American History X, and your brain is mixing that movie poster with Hegseth.
She didn't have to do all that to him.
Yes, she did, Tim.
Man.
It is a Jerusalem cross.
Jerusalem cross. There you go.
Okay.
So just S rank across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm giving. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it is that thing. But that's heavy duty Nazi symbolism.
It's
Right,
white
that's-
nationalist, not necessarily Nazi.
But are
Just
those
no
two
Ferners.
things different?
Sometimes they don't like each other all the time. I mean, look at Elon and Trump. Perfect
That's
example. They look like they're the same flavor of racist, but they're not. They're different vintages.
So yeah, she
brutalized him.
She was out of fucks to give.
Yeah.
And if people don't know, that's my senator.
Yeah.
And she is a combat veteran. She's a helicopter pilot. And she took fire and crashed, and she's a double amputee. So her and her military spending and motherfuckers lying about the military or making the military do shit that they're not. She's, as you can see, Mama Bear don't play.
Nope.
Yep.
She does not play. And like, if anything, Trump should have reached out to her to be second death. You know what I mean? Like, she has a tenacity and a give a fuck about
let's go
the
about
military.
that. How about she can run for president?
I don't know, man. I don't know if she'd do it. And I mean, she's
some ass.
Tim, this is when they put us in cages.
I know.
This is how it
I know.
happens. This is under President Duckworth. We're all going in cages, boys.
She runs for president. AOC's her VP.
Oh,
it is
God,
a literal
so
100% wash.
Oh no.
So
Could be. I'm not American, but I would vote for that.
So for the chat, yes, this is a rating show where we rate clips. I don't know if I mentioned that in the beginning because so many things have happened since then.
So late.
Yeah.
Well, we also had to talk about some shit that happened in the last week. So,
but yes,
we were a little derailed.
If you would like to rate along with us, the general categories are the content.
Hold on. Oh, okay, go ahead.
We have content, the words they spoke, delivery, how they delivered the words they spoke, and presentation sometimes, and vibes. The overall, whatever the kids are saying nowadays about vibes and all that.
Who's got a spare tab? Can we do a poll for each thing, for each person?
I might be.
You know what I'm saying?
A live poll.
Yeah. Can someone get into the guts?
Yeah, I can do that because I'm a manager on the network. I think.
Okay.
I
think would that be cool? I think that'd be cool, right? So like once who's the next one? And then like whatever the next person is, we'll just put in. We'll just start the poll as the video is playing, and then they can, and then we'll stop it after we're done.
Instead of doing maybe the audience doing each category, because you'd have to set up a new poll for each one. Maybe the
just an overall.
Yeah.
Got to get on the panel if you want to talk about their clothes.
She's looking sharp. She's got that military fatigue jacket.
Damn.
With the Colonel Gold accents.
President Duckworth, I'm telling you right now, it's a winning ticket.
Yo, what if her and Pritzker ran?
Oh my God.
Or as president of the Senate? Oh, they'd be fucked. So fucked. She'd make them work every day. What are you voting at 60?
He ain't doing shit for his job.
All right, so yeah, what's the next one coming up, and I'll start the poll for it.
Okay.
Yeah, S tier. Put her at the top, Tim.
Yeah, I put it in.
All right, next.
But by the way, just to explain the tiers, it goes S rank is highest, then A, B, C, D, F.
There's
and then lowest is pineapple.
Yeah.
That's
if you don't,
the worst of the worst.
I will say, if you don't know how to use pineapple, then don't. You shouldn't be using pineapple if you don't know the story.
We should have an expert of Tim we can just play every time we have to talk about pineapple.
You know what? I still have to. I talked about it. I'm gonna find that clip and just put it up on the.
I think it's 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
So we have to 2 weeks ago. What was I gonna say? Oh, there's a website like Tierify.com or something like that. We can do the ones like they do in all the memes, and it makes it for you. You can just drag your pictures. I was like, why don't we do that? Did we know about that? I'll show you later. I was like, but there's a thing that makes it so easy. I was like, we want that. We do literal tier lists every fucking week. We need that. What is it? Wesley Bell is next.
Now recognize
Wesley Bell
from Missouri, Mr. Bell.
Mr. Secretary,
Mr. Bell,
my colleague down the dais, I don't feel sorry for you. I visited with soldiers in war zones whose life is on the line. So a few tough questions. I think you'll be okay. And so my first question is, are you authorized to disclose intelligence that would put our troops in harm's way to our enemies?
Well, I reject the premise of the
just saying,
question.
Just as a hypothetical, are you authorized to do that?
I have not and do not.
Exactly, and I assume that. So when you told our ranking member that everything that you say is authorized, that wasn't completely accurate, correct?
What I said is that every way that I communicate is
No, you
authorized.
actually said everything that you said is authorized. I wrote it down. Now, with that said, and the reason I bring that up is because it's
He has
about
proof. Shit.
and we're talking about this war ethos. The primary component of that is accountability. And I'm going to indulge me in a quick analogy. Republicans introduced a bill on the House floor a few days ago, a resolution standing against terror, racism, hate, anti-Semitism, which as an American, as a Black man, I'm going to stand against those things 6 times a week, twice on Sunday. Now, the nefarious part was there was a line that was stuck at the end of that resolution that essentially gave a shout out to law enforcement, which I do support, but also to ICE, which right now, a lot of Americans have a problem with the way ICE is being deployed. And I'm not happy with what they're doing, nor do I want to shout them out for that. And so accountability was, I didn't duck from the question. I went and I talked to my constituents. I went on social media. I did interviews to explain exactly where I stood, that I stand against hate. I stand against racism. I stand against anti-Semitism. And I hate that line was stuck in there. That's accountability. So when we're asking you these questions and you're ducking and you're not answering them directly, that's not a culture of a war. What was the term? A war ethos, a warrior ethos. I'm looking at members who serve, and they're taking their lead from you. That starts with you. And if we have troops who are in war zones and they're watching while they're risking their lives, and you can't just answer some tough questions, what kind of culture is that setting? So, as a prosecutor, when I think about what's happening in California and around the country with ICE, it's not only dangerous and unconstitutional, but it raises serious public safety concerns because we have people with masks that are going around saying that they're ICE, and we've had reports of that, saying that they're ICE and committing crimes. And that's a big problem. But it gets me back to the point of the accountability piece. So, for example, do you believe quality military housing is important? Yes or no? And just keep your mic on for time because I don't only have a minute left.
Our budget commits to robust military housing and barracks up.
Do you believe military children deserve a strong education?
Our budget funds strong education, and we hope more education.
Just say yes, bitch.
Love it. Is it a priority to provide real, reliable care to our veterans?
Of course.
So, Mr. Secretary, we have a problem here because your answers don't match your budget priorities. You said your mission is to restore this warrior ethos and that threats we face are serious, but so must our investments. So when we think of, for example, a $45 million parade, I can think of 45 million things we could do more effectively with $45 million than a parade. Such as the things that I mentioned: military housing, military children's education, providing reliable care for our veterans. All of these things would be higher on the priority than a parade. And so the parade, and when we talk about showing strength, we're not talking about theater. We're not talking about showmanship. We're talking about things that actually make our military more lethal and keeps us safer. And so what I'm saying is that in my limited time left is accountability does matter, and this body cares about what our military is doing because we care about national security, and we all take it very seriously.
Gentleman's time is expired.
Okay, there we go.
All right, so
fresh to the table.
I had to condense our rating system in the poll a little bit because I only give you a max of 4 possible responses.
Don't put pineapple on there then.
Yeah, just go A, like B, C.
Yeah, A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they don't get the fun ones.
Well, if we get a majority all the way at the bottom, all the way at the top.
So,
That's
right.
Tim, I would say you should do S, A, B, C, D, F, pineapple.
F pineapple.
All right. I'll do that. I'll do that mix next time.
But or just do whatever. I don't know. S, triangle.
I mean,
Oh, damn it, Ali! I just saw your thing over there.
I thought it was a
makes
good
more
idea.
sense.
Okay, I'm gonna do it on. I got you. I got you on the next one.
So,
Right? It's too bad we can't have a slide at the same time, but yeah.
so let's do the rating. So for Representative Bell,
I liked what he was saying. I did. So
I would
yeah,
give
for
him
content.
a B plus.
Yeah, you were thinking B plus. I was thinking he's pretty close to an A, so B plus I can agree with.
for content.
Yeah, that was strong content.
All right.
Yeah.
Delivery.
He lost a bit of delivery.
That's the
wasn't
category he
great.
loses the most points.
Yeah. He
Wasn't
was rough.
fantastic.
He was rough.
I didn't mind that he had notes. Like, it's good to have talking
Yeah.
points and stuff so you don't miss things.
Be
It's
prepared.
Yeah.
fine.
But he should have read the notes out loud 4 or 5 times before he showed up.
Yeah, he stumbled over what he
Right.
was trying to say a little bit.
Yeah.
A wee bit there.
B minus.
C.
Yeah, C plus. C plus.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not strong.
Not a strong performance.
Not like President Duckworth. Like it's
President Duckworth.
Okay.
Presentation.
Standard fare, B plus. He was in a nice suit. He looked good.
Yeah.
Right.
Representing Missouri.
Standard fare.
God damn
right?
it.
What?
He should have fought that dude as soon as he called Missouri. Just should have came over the dais. Motherfucker.
What?
No.
You got a problem with Missouri?
Missouri. Zora.
Not Timothy, not in front of the kids.
Illinois?
God damn it, Tim.
I
hate you.
Yeah, B B
Connecticut.
Yeah, B plus. For
Connecticut.
No, I like Connecticut.
Vibes. Listen, he had the right message. He was saying the right stuff. I'm willing to give him an A on vibes.
Yeah, I'll give him an A. He tried to take him to task.
Right.
And he laid a little strap card down and then walked him back into it. Ha ha ha. I was like, that was cute.
You've activated my trap card.
That has to get on the soundboard.
Oh my
Yu-Gi-Oh!
God. Yes, it does.
I'm on it.
Yes, that'll be a good one. I have to do it off stream though, because they're definitely gonna.
Oh yeah,
they are horrible. I gotta get that in like one try. If I tried that live, Whew. Okay.
I'll
make
we
a
got to
note.
add
We'll
in
do
the
later.
poll here. We did this poll, so let's end it. And
Yeah, what the audience say?
33% said A rank, 33% said B, C, or D, 22% said pineapple or F.
What? Damn.
And 11% said S rank. So I think
what?
9 votes. So we had 1 S, we had 2 at F pineapple, and then 3 and 3.
Who voted pineapple?
I don't know.
Ali.
Somebody's definitely
That's
tried.
free
No,
country.
I
It's
didn't.
fine. It's fine.
I didn't. Looking at the ranks we gave there, I was one of the A's. I'll be
I like to
honest
start a
with you there.
Q&A too.
So-
We have so many more buttons now. But we can set goals for stuff and do Q&As. This is going to be fun. Once I get into this,
Once
this
we
is going to
figure
be fun.
And now we got we're
we
going
got
to
a
main.
super chat.
We got a
Ooh.
main.
$20 super chat.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Let me see here.
From
Thank
Michelle
you.
Gustafson. I hope I said that correctly.
Justice.
So close, Tim. So close.
Justice.
I know it.
Justice.
Thank you, waifu. Appreciate you. Get some air
Thanks,
horns.
wife.
Air horns.
Thank you.
Vibes A. So yes,
He gets an A on vibes.
you get an A on vibes. For
It is
$20, we'll put in whatever rank you
It is.
want.
That's
Whatever
right.
you
Yeah,
say.
if you do a 20, it's
20
super chat,
bucks.
you want.
F-
That means if we
F
do it-
pineapple. Wait.
yeah, can you imagine if somebody did that, like just totally tanked one of
Oh
ours? Or,
no,
right?
they could tank like AOC. Just put
Listen,
like
listen.
Pineapple.
pineapple vibes.
No tomato pineapple.
If you put a rating in the super chats, it will be weighted based on the amount of money you give.
That is true. Like, what if they make us pineapple across the board Bernie? Oh, that would hurt. And then Bernie would be the worst.
Please,
He'd be the
bring
worst
up
of the
Ellie's
year.
comment.
What if they make us S rank fucking somebody like Vance or
Oh,
Trump?
no.
Come on now.
So
That'd be horrible.
brief explanation for pineapple, okay? I, back in the day, was a Renaissance fair vendor.
When he was a young warthog.
And I was poor because I was a Renaissance fair vendor. And
yeah,
me and my friends, we would go to this, it was in Florida. We would go to this Chinese restaurant and eat, because it was all you can eat buffet. So we could spend $10 and feed ourselves for like a week.
Feast.
And they had for dessert, Chinese restaurants have like ice cream and fruits and like little cakes or whatever. And they had like a tray of pineapple on the buffet. And we all got some. And I tasted it. And I was like, this pineapple tastes fermented. It had been there so long that it was turning into alcohol. So the pineapple reference is to bad Chinese buffet pineapple, and it's the worst.
That has begun to liquorize.
I understand everyone's reference point is Little Nicky for some reason. However,
Never seen Little Nicky?
that is a terrible movie.
I didn't see
Okay.
that.
It is so bad.
Well, that does fit
But
the
you don't
pineapple
get.
thing, then.
Yeah.
No, I get the reference.
Okay.
I think I don't like it.
Don't you ruin our pineapple. That's a
Pineapple's
beautiful
already
Chinese buffet-
ruined.
Chinese buffet story,
So-
damn it.
So in regards to the show, pineapple ranking is worse than F. It's the worst possible ranking you could give someone for future reference. It's the opposite of S rank.
Yep.
Fair.
So who is our next reviewee?
Victor.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button. You heard what she said.
Senator King.
Senator King.
That worked.
Mr. Secretary, I'm somewhat puzzled. I grew up in Virginia where Robert E. Lee was revered. I think when I was a kid, his birthday was a school holiday. But as I grew older and learned more about American history, I learned that he fit the classic definition of a traitor. He took up arms against his country. He broke his oath as a member of the United States Army, which he took upon entering his career at West Point. Why are you going through these incredible gymnastics, finding current soldiers or other soldiers to rename? And you slipped a minute ago. You said we're returning these bases to their original names. Robert E. Lee, leading general of the Confederacy, Pickett, the other names. Why are you doing this? I don't understand what the motivation is to rename bases for people who took up arms against their country on behalf of slavery. What possible motivation can there be for this? Who is telling you to do this? Who is urging you to do this?
Reasons.
Nothing.
Senator, the veterans and service members across the country who have deployed from Fort Bragg or Fort Benning or Fort Hood or Fort Pickett, there's a legacy, there's a connection to those bases and to those places, to what they trained for there, what they did for.
Mikey, what are you doing?
To.
They said he
That
looks
matters
like
to
this
them.
guy.
Ask enough of them, as I do all the time, before and later. And we recognize the service of those who were put into the replacement. No one's disputing that. I would never dispute that. What we're looking at is erasing history, erasing names, erasing base names that service members are tied to.
Not
Talk to people
erasing
that serve
history,
at
it's
Bragg.
recognizing
Ask people that serve at Fort Bragg or Fort Benning if they like the fact that the names have been returned. and to a man and to a woman, they will tell you, thank God we're back to Fort Bragg.
That's wrong.
I'm not
And
sure
thank
about
you,
that,
because
Tim.
so many men and women in this country have served. There's a Benning and a Bragg and a Pickett and a Hood has a Silver Star or a Medal of Honor that we could rename the base to because of the limits of what Congress allowed us to do. So this is something we've been proud to do, something that's important for the morale of the Army, and those communities appreciate that we've returned it back to what it was instead of trying to play this game of erasing names.
We're not erasing history, Mr. Secretary. We're recognizing history and recognizing that mistakes have been made.
All right, Mikey, leave it alone.
Greatest of all was the Civil War. Where
Wow.
people took up arms against their country on behalf of the institution of slavery. And to continue the practice of recognizing those people and honoring them by the naming of these bases is, I believe, an insult to the people of the United States. Let me talk about the budget. I don't understand why the budget is coming to us in two pieces. Why not give us an honest base budget instead of putting a piece of it in recognition, in reconciliation? As I understand it, OMB is saying we're going to have a flat defense budget for the next 4 or 5 years. Are we planning reconciliation every year from now on? Why not give us an honest budget telling us what your priorities are, and then we can consider it.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Bipartisan basis
no idea.
on a defense budget. We all want to see some increases in the defense budget, and yet you're giving us this this fake. Here's a piece of the budget. Here's another. You're cutting in the base budget. You're cutting shipbuilding in half. And saying, well, we're going to make it up in reconciliation. Are we going to have reconciliation every year? Which basically, by the way, puts a significant part, 10 or 15% of the defense budget in a wholly partisan decision-making process, whereas in the history of this committee, it's always been bipartisan. Why are we doing it this way?
Senator, from our view, the budget number 961 meets the requirements and threats that we face. And
that's not the number. The number is 892.6. You're adding reconciliation. That's my whole point. Why not give us a base budget of 961 or whatever the right number is, what you consider the right number, and then we can operate and make our decisions. Why do it in this bifurcated way that really is fooling the American people about what the defense budget is?
So correct me if I'm wrong, Tim. What essentially Hegesth and them are wanting is like, we'll do a very small check, and then when the second paycheck is supposed to come in, just go ahead and leave that one blank, and then I'll let you know how much it's going to be.
Yeah, I really don't like. They're skirting all of the budget rules. Like they just are.
Like,
I mean,
we'll take. Don't worry about putting in any of the numbers. Actually,
yeah,
just leave the tap open.
We're just going to print more money. It's fine.
I think the problem is that the people that Trump has put in charge of all these departments don't know what the fuck they're doing. So they don't know. They don't know how to manage budgets.
Do have any of the people that Trump has put in managed to come out with a budget yet? Any of them?
Like
a
real
successful budget, an actual budget?
No.
I don't think any of them have yet.
I mean, we've seen Cash Pineapple not have a budget.
Jackass.
No.
Christy Nome blowing her budget.
Yeah.
Hegseth previously didn't have a budget.
Yeah.
All these people, and it's all national security based, right? It's all national security and defense based departments that are blowing their budgets because they're just going nuts.
They're just doing what they think their job is just to run around doing what Trump says. We can't even afford to do that. Like like we're not set up to do what you think that we're able to do. Like that money comes in chunks. We don't have billions of dollars just laying around for you to burn up right now.
Here is where I weirdly have to agree with Elon Musk. What they're doing what they're doing with this reconciliation package is not saving any money, right?
No.
They're taking money from other places and putting it into national security and defense. They're not saving anything. They're spending more.
Yep.
They're taking it away from like small things like NPR,
food,
and
Sesame Street,
public broadcasting and Sesame Street. And they're giving and Medicaid and Medicare, and they're giving it to defense.
The VA.
Right.
No, not that.
Oh yes, that they're closing all the VAs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. I'm sorry. My bad.
And selling the buildings.
Yeah.
They got caught selling the buildings, the administrative buildings. They're selling them.
I think in a very sober but angry moment, Elon Musk sort of said the thing you're not supposed to say, and was like, they're not actually, like, maybe he thought that he was actually doing something, possibly. All the drugs, who knows? But
who can say?
Who can say? But when he was gone, when he got thrown out and given that stupid key, after he complained that they weren't saving any money, he was like, hey, they're actually undoing all the stuff that I tried to do with Doge. Not that I agree with
Tesla.
Yeah. Not that I agree with anything that Elon Musk has ever done ever. But what he was saying was, I was trying to save money. They're all fucking crazy over there. They're spending money.
Yep.
Well, he wanted to save money by firing all the people that were actively investigating his crimes. Like, that was the only money he saved. Then he's like, Toulouse. Oh,
and he
my
didn't
time's
actually,
out.
He actually spent more money than he saved too.
Right. He fired everyone investigating him and left. Like, that's it. That's all he did.
But he was saying, hey, these guys are, the grifter was saying, hey, these guys are grifting you, basically.
Yeah, thanks. And give us your tutorials on how to play that fucking video game, too.
Elon, 1v1 me in fucking Diablo 4, motherfucker.
Let's go.
I've never played it before. I would smoke him.
Yeah. He don't want this.
Let's fight him in Fortnite. It'll be fine.
Find me on a COD server, Elon.
Yeah. Come fight me in Baldur's Gate 3. I'll kick
I
your
will
butt.
shield bash the shit out of you.
It's game on.
My Little Pony Adventure versus.
Yep.
Tetris.
Gonna be some bricks falling here.
Dominoes.
So
Digital dominoes.
Checkers. Come on.
Is the last minute of this clip relevant, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're not trying to fool anybody, sir. It's two bills, one budget. We're working with OMB, and we feel very comfortable with the number of 961 billion.
Why don't you give us a straight up budget for the Defense Department? That's my question.
Senator, this is a straight up budget for the Defense Department. And it's a 13% increase over what Joe Biden gave us.
It is a two-part defense budget. Part of it is in reconciliation instead of in the budget that's being presented to this committee. This committee only has a partial review of the budget. I don't understand why we can't have an honest, straightforward budget instead of this son of Oko that you're putting over on us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What is that a reference to? Son of Oko. What's that a reference
teaser
to?
for what's to come?
Oh yeah. I know you'd like this one, Tim.
There we go. I'm so let's rate Senator King here.
Senator King.
Gotta get his picture back up here.
K for kind of good.
And so he is the independent senator from Maine.
Oh.
He is the
Aren't they the live free or die people?
No, that's New Hampshire. But Maine's other senator is Susan Collins.
Sounds right.
A Republican.
Sounds right,
So Senator King, he's an independent, but he often caucuses with the Democrats. He's not quite a Bernie Sanders type. He's more libertarian than that, I believe.
Well,
so content.
Oops. He had good content. I mean, he in my opinion, he hit the right spots. I mean, it wasn't like super flashy or anything like that, but he definitely was saying, "You're an idiot. Where's your budget? Your budget makes no sense. You're an idiot." Right? That's basically what he said.
If he had said idiot more, it'd be a strong A.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
BB plus.
If he would just been like, can you explain what a budget is?
Yeah.
Just do you know how to budget?
It's you giving me money.
Do you know how budgets work?
If someone perhaps like on a dais asked you to explain it, do you think you'd be able to do that?
Budget means habeas corpus.
It's the power the president has.
The power of the president to take away rights.
Take away Excel spreadsheets
for money.
Can you read a balance sheet? Pete Hegseth has never seen a balance sheet in his goddamn
I was
life.
elected to lead, not
to read. He did. He ran that nonprofit. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Directly into the ground.
Directly into the ground. Delivery.
Into the ground.
He was more prepared, a bit more polished. So B, strong B plus. Right?
Yeah, I give him a B plus. Like it was crisp and concise, to the point, and like super, easy questions. Like
he really should have known at least one of those.
This is actual budget. This is weird, separate 2-part budget.
We're half.
Why do this instead of that?
Yeah, or explain why we're doing it differently.
Like
why do it differently this time? And he just couldn't do it.
You can't make it easier, other than like dumbing it down to caveman speak. But I don't think that would have helped. So
I just put a poll in the chat. Put in your votes now. Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it totally works. Not all the time. Like it's not on every pizza, but
pineapple, jalapeno, black olive,
salty and sweet and spicy.
Mm-hmm.
So
and umami from the black olive.
So I would change it out. I would do pineapple, bacon, and jalapeno. Just because I like bacon more than olives.
I could never do bacon on pizza again.
That was my pescatarian pizza.
What?
The black olive, pineapple, and jalapenos. That was like, ooh, I almost feel like I'm eating meat with these olives on here. It's like a little sausage.
Why did I get to vote in the poll twice?
What?
I didn't set any rules.
I got to vote in that poll twice.
Hey, apparently you can vote more than once. So if somebody wins, somebody wins. Whoever clicks the most.
I'm gonna envision it's gonna be like a split 50-50, as close as you can get. Because seems like half of people like it and half of people don't.
What was delivery for Senator King?
Delivery was a B plus.
Okay,
yeah, B plus.
Okay.
And I was gonna say he spoke slowly, but to deliver emphasis and not just like at a snail's pace, which I appreciate.
Yeah, no.
We're not like I have to read my thing to find what I want to say,
or just have a drawl that's just what?
No.
No. No. That's
Tim's like, that sounds excellent.
Though there was a thing I want to get Tim's response in this, because since you're on the East Coast, you have more shellfish and seafood that you probably have better access to. Popcorn, lobster, and caramel.
What are you doing?
Apparently it worked. Chef Ramsay liked it.
Popcorn,
lobster, and caramel.
Actually, and cashews, I think.
Yeah. I've already had
on pizza
4
or
feet
just
of
like
lobster
this is
year,
just
Mark.
this is a new type of food. Not we're moving off of pizza.
Okay.
But
together.
Yes.
Like I don't know how that would work.
I don't know how it does either, but apparently
somebody must have pre-shelled the lobster for them, because you're not eating popcorn and stuff like that if you're having to shell lobster, because
it was out of the shell for sure.
So
I can't imagine lobster meat and caramel together.
I can. No, I can.
Mikey's
face. Because you put the caramel on the popcorn and you're having the popcorn as a side with the lobster. I can picture that.
Mark has discovered a new fear of mine, and it is the combination of lobster, caramel, popcorn, and cashews.
Cashews? What? How did cashews get in there?
All right, I gotta go find the fucking episode now with that.
No,
there it is.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
No, we're getting back on fucking topic at that point. At this point, no. I'd rather talk about
presentation.
Yeah, back
Yeah.
to the holy
Presentation
shit.
again. Just he B plus.
That just
That's
made
that
me
standard
dizzy.
suit and tie look for the Senate.
Yeah,
He does look. I don't know if he looks tired or he should be wearing glasses because he's squinting.
And finally, he's got old man eyes. And finally, vibes.
He didn't light a fire, but it was good. So again, a B.
Yeah, I think he's like B plus across the board.
Yeah,
I think he's
basically.
If it had been a little more fire, maybe a little more, stop being dumb and answer my question, it could be a little higher. But yeah, B plus. That's
yeah. And let's see. Let me go back in the chat to the chat.
We had
ranked
7
him,
votes and six of them were for A B.
Yeah.
Somebody
so-
gave him an F pineapple. I don't know why.
So yeah, the
Ollie,
chat.
it's you, isn't
No,
it?
it is
The
not.
chat agrees.
I promise you, it is not.
And I'll give the pizza poll 1 more minute. So if you guys if you want to vote on pineapple on pizza, yes or no, you got 1 more minute, and then we'll tally the votes.
Well, right now that vote is odd, so we actually have a decision, right?
Yeah.
Give it 1 more minute, and it could go back to even, and then we wouldn't have a decision.
She's so crazy.
Don't
She
talk
danced
about-
on the couch corner again.
She's like she's about to pull the TV over, and it's like, stop touching the TV. Why do you gotta touch it?
Dude, this is the worst time.
is this-
they
is this
have
the-
no impulse control.
Is this the
Has
last
to touch it.
Is this the last Hegseth video, or is there another one? Because then we can rate Hegseth and be done with him.
Oh, there's another one.
Okay.
All right, so let's do the last Hegseth video.
I think there is
Get
one.
it
There is
over
at
with.
least one more.
We'll do the last Hegseth video, and then we'll end on the glory that is Tuck and
The TNT?
and Theodore. TNT.
Oh,
I need everybody to buckle up. Oh,
Buttercup.
boy. Oh boy. Where's my button? Doodly-doo-doodly-doo. Oh boy.
Goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Ah, pineapple lost.
You heard what she said.
Slotkin. The Reaper.
Thank you, Chairman.
Get him.
Mr.
Oh
Secretary,
my God. Her and what's her face should have walked in formation, dog. They got matching outfits on. Hold on, homie.
Yep.
Combat ready.
I said in your hearing when you had your confirmation hearing that my biggest concern with
365 heels on ground. All right, I'm done.
you at the helm was the potential use of the military in ways that contradict the Constitution or that taint what I hope we all want, which is a political military. And when I asked you about whether you would accept an order that was actually given to your predecessor, Secretary Esper, Trump's SecDef, to deploy active duty troops against unarmed protesters and to, in Secretary Esper's words, shoot at them, shoot at their legs. You said this was all theoretical. Here we are a few months later, you've deployed 4,700 troops to Los Angeles and against the wishes of the governor. And my colleague across the aisle was right. It is the first time since 1965 that we have deployed guard troops without the permission of the governor. In all the instances he laid out, the president had sent in the military to protect protesters, not against the protesters. So you may dismiss it, but I feel like this is a fundamental issue of American democracy. If you love your country and you want an apolitical military, then it should be the last resort, not the first resort in our country to use them. So to get to the non-theoretical, have you authorized the uniformed military to detain or arrest protesters in Los Angeles?
Senator, I would just start by saying you're not a protester if you're throwing concrete
100%.
at law
Arrest those
enforcement
people,
officers.
throw them in the jail, 100%. But what you're doing is something different. Everyone knows this is a political decision, right? So we don't trust that you're using the best interests of the military, certainly, and of democracy on top of that. So have you given the order? That's all I want to know. It's not theoretical. For the U.S. military, not law enforcement. They can arrest all day long. That's the job. Do they have the ability, the uniformed military, to arrest and detain protesters currently today? It's a yes or no thing. Authority.
It's sort of
I'm not sure.
Speculation is out there. These troops are given very clear orders.
Then what is the order? Then list it out for us.
It's all
Be a
been
man. List it out.
It's all-
Did you authorize them to detain or arrest? That is a fundamental issue of democracy. I'm not trying to be a snot here. I'm just trying to get the actual. Did you authorize?
Can't hear you, Mikey.
You're muted, Mikey.
Did you order the code red?
You want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
You authorize them to detain or arrest. That is a fundamental issue of democracy. I'm not trying to be a snot here. I'm just trying to get the actual. Did you authorize them to do that?
All of these orders and what they're sent there to do are public. They are
Okay,
there
so
to,
say it. So say it. Yes or no?
I'd like to.
Please. Yes or no?
As I've said time and time again through interruption, they're there to protect law enforcement.
Do they have
ICE
the ability
officers
to arrest?
who are trying to do their job,
Okay.
deporting illegals who were allowed in by the previous
So they
administration.
cannot arrest and detain citizens of the United States, the uniformed military.
As
Is
we've
that right?
stated, if necessary, in their own self-defense, they could temporarily detain and
Have
hand
you-
over to ICE. But
have
there's no
you given-
arresting going
have
on.
you-
And you know this better
Have
than
you
you're trying to
authorized
play
the
political
U.S.
games.
military
There's
to
no
use
arresting
cyber
of U.S.
tools
personnel.
of the U.S. military against members of the protest? Have you authorized U.S. military cyber tools to investigate people participating in these protests? Yes or no?
Certainly in no way that I'd be aware of.
Okay, that's good. I love that answer. That's great.
That
Have
just means they
you
didn't ask
given the order to be able to
Not like you
shoot
would know.
at unarmed protesters in any way? I'm just asking the question. Don't laugh. Like the whole country. And by the way, my colleagues
What is
across
that
the
based
aisle.
on? What evidence would you
It
have
is
that an
based
order
on
like that has
Donald
ever
Trump
been given?
giving that order to your predecessor, to a Republican Secretary of Defense, who I give a lot of credit to because he didn't accept the order. He had more guts and balls than you because he said, I'm not going to send the uniformed military to do something that I know in my gut isn't right. He was asked to shoot at their legs. He wrote that in his book. That's not hearsay. So you're poo-pooing of this. It just shows you don't understand who we are as a country. Who we are. And all of my colleagues across the aisle, especially the ones that served, should want an apolitical military and not want citizens to be scared of their own military. I love the military. I served alongside my whole life, so I'm worried about you tainting it. Have you given the order? Have you given the order that they can use lethal force against honor? I want the answer to be no. Please tell me it's no. Have you given the order?
Senator, I'd be careful what you read in books and believing it, except for the Bible.
Oh my God. So your former predecessor.
That's what I would
is
say.
Not enough for you. Okay. On Iran. I don't think there's a debate. There's like a cat fight going on in your own party about whether to go after Iran.
Anyway.
Have you commissioned
No.
any day after planning? So any force protection, any use of ground troops in Iran, any cost assessments? Because I don't think we doubt what we can do as a country in the attack. It's the day after with Iraq and Afghanistan that so many of us have learned to be so deeply concerned about. Have you authorized day after planning?
As I've said, we have plans for everything, Senator.
Wow.
What
They
a
have plans
moron.
for everything. They're planned for everything.
Oh, I'm kind of disgusted by that guy right now, man.
His name is Keg's Breath.
Keg's
If you'll
Breath.
look at-
That's a
if
good
you'll
one.
take a peek at the screen there, Ali.
Keg's breath. Yeah.
Oh, Keg's Breath.
Oh boy! All right,
Keg's
so
breath.
we've got two to rank here because that's the last Hegesth video. So Slotkin first.
Slotkin first. Okay.
God, that's like another.
It's pretty close.
I think that's a
It
gold
wasn't-
plated A+.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the Duckworth that we saw earlier, but it was right next to it, right behind it.
Like I want to give it like A+. Is it because what isn't there like a point system? What's the point system, Tim? Don't you
So-
give like plus 0.5 for pluses
Yeah,
and minuses?
yeah, for pluses.
So what's an A?
An A is a 5. An A
I'd
plus
say-
is a 5.5.
I'd say
An S is a
5.5.
And
An S is a 6. Yes. Yeah.
5.5.
So can we do 5.75 though? That'd
Or
be
you
two
want-
S's.
Jesus. S minus.
Ollie, I know the D&D player and he wants to game the system.
He's not min
Well, I'm
maxing.
thinking
You're
two
min
S's,
maxing.
2 A pluses is what I'm thinking. We would have that out 5.75.
2 times crit on the.
Yeah, no. Listen, it's you give a letter grade, and I translate it into a number.
Okay.
I would like a B plus 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 minus plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It don't work that way. You don't get +5 to hit.
Yeah. And I have power attack with my two-handed weapon, and
Yeah. I buffed him before. Remember, when I fed him, that's a craft I learned.
Oh, that's right.
I sat around that campfire with that gnome that one time. So now when I cook meals, it buffs their shit.
You cast Inspire Courage. I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So A+.
Food.
So
did
yeah,
he
A+
poop?
for
Yep.
content.
Yes.
Delivery.
A+.
Yeah. I thought we were just doing A+ across the board.
That's what I was advocating.
Yeah.
I'm honestly going to give an S for vibes.
That's why I was thinking 5.75 over all 4 categories. That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
2 S's.
Ollie
2
over
A's.
here don't average the median.
I know.
I'm skewing it. I want S in the final vibe for me.
Yeah.
No, that's
I
what he
agree.
said. That's what he
he
factored
wants.
in.
That's what I am saying.
Yeah.
You know what? S
I'm
across
saying-
the board.
I'm saying 2 of them should be S's and 2 of them should be A+.
All right, guys. Well,
A+.
so we only have 3.
Wait,
we only
keep
have
fighting.
3.
Wait, keep fighting. Keep fighting. Hold on. Keep fighting.
And the girls are fighting, aren't they?
No.
He's bleach blonde, bad built, butch body.
So
Tim, what is an S minus?
S
what's
minus.
S
God damn it.
minus?
It looks like in the poll here that S rank has taken it. In that poll right there. S rank has taken it. 42% say S rank, 28% said A or B, and 28% says F rank or pineapple. Who's pineappling?
Somebody
like
keeps
everything?
taking it, man. Somebody's out there taking it every single
I
one.
hope they were accidentally like rating Hegseth from the clip too, because that would make sense.
Oh yeah,
No.
hold on.
No, they're not.
Did
We
you
need a
not put-
Hegseth poll.
Let me
now.
put a poll in for Hegseth here.
Yeah.
Ah,
We're
this
talking about
clown.
pizza.
Cake
It's
set.
talking about some barbecue pineapple what pizza? Hold on, I'm
Shrimp.
listening.
Oh, pineapple barbecue on a pizza? God damn.
Could be good.
With some Canadian bacon.
Unless it's been sitting out in the sun for fermenting for a while.
What? You don't?
Unless the pineapple's older than you.
No, you just put the pizza on the hood of your car in the hot sun and let it cook that way.
We'll be able to do that this weekend.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hot as
Yeah.
hell.
Have you ever cooked a meal in the engine of a car?
No.
I've cooked an egg on the engine of a car. That was interesting.
I've cooked multiple meals in the engine of a car.
All right.
I definitely could. I have a nice giant V8. It'll get hot.
For Scott in the chat, thin crust is always best.
You
None
just
of
saying
this
debatable.
that because you're just saying that because you have a pizza stone. You're not fooling anybody.
None of this deep dish nonsense.
Pan crust is the best.
Ooh, the votes are strong already.
Are they all voting him A's? Is that what you're saying?
That's
No.
right. Well, I'm curious to see if somebody gives them an A.
Oh, you
Or
know
an
what?
F.
I will agree with Kay in the chat. Tavern style pizza is pretty good.
No, when I was
Detroit?
in
That's
the military,
style. Detroit style is honestly like the best crust. That shit is so buttery and crunchy and crispy.
That is pretty
It's
good.
It's
not
like a
deep dish.
delicious.
It's not
Yeah.
regular.
It's like what
Happily
Pizza Hut
noodle.
stole.
Oh,
the
Man.
old MREs, the old ration packs, we used to heat them up in the engine of the car when we were at maneuvers. Right in the engine of that's how we used to cook them.
We get it, Ollie. You ate like a survivalist for
yeah,
a while.
yeah.
Oh, as well as
If,
in the military.
if
Come
I
on now.
could time travel,
I stuck
like,
it on the carburetor. I don't know where this cough came from.
if I could time travel back to like the 90s and go to a Pizza Hut when it was a sit-down restaurant again.
Oh my god! And drink a Pepsi with
Oh
sugar
my
in it,
god.
as opposed to the
I-
bullshit they give us now.
I have a sit-down Pizza Hut less than 5 kilometers away from me.
How many feet is that, Ollie?
It's about
7.
3 miles, 3.5 miles.
Stop giving out your location.
He lives in Alaska.
He lives somewhere in the Canadian wilderness.
That's right.
Yeah, Alaska.
Detroit over everything, though, for real. Not even playing. Like that shit is so, dude. If you're drunk, it's perfect. If you're high, it's perfect. If you're starving and you just want it cold, perfect. Reheat, perfect. Like I don't know. It's flawless, dog.
All right.
They figured it out.
Hegseth.
Don't tell
pizza's
Detroit.
perfect.
Do not tell Detroit.
Yeah.
Don't let Progress
Pizza's
Only hear us
folded
say
up.
this.
Perfect.
Hegseth.
Strong F.
Awful.
Wow.
Yeah, strong F.
He's getting a pineapple on at least one of the categories.
All right.
For that Bible comment.
And vibes. Yeah, I think pineapple and vibes. Everything else is F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go with that.
I don't think we need to even discuss it.
Yeah.
We
I think
saw
we're
it.
all in
We
agreement.
saw what happened.
The chat also apparently is in agreement.
we all saw what happened here.
Yeah.
But if anyone shops at Costco, they have a Motor City Pizza Company for their frozen pizzas. They make a really good, pretty much almost Detroit frozen pizza. That's fantastic.
See, now I'm hungry and
We gotta stop doing this. No more
gotta
food
stop
talk.
talking about
Food
food.
is not
I didn't
allowed
talk
to be
about
talked
food.
about during the broadcast. You must
Speaking
wait
from
till
the
after.
fridge.
That's what it's gonna be talking.
Speaking from,
I
listen,
went
we're just gonna
shopping
end up
today,
doing a
guys. I
food
got
show
good
at some
treats over
point.
there.
You know we're gonna get burned out on this political shit eventually.
Well, eventually, there's not going to be any more democracy to talk about.
Yeah, we'll just have to
Yeah.
talk about the rations that Ollie gets to eat every day, and that we don't have at all.
He only
Talk
gets
about
MREs
Canadian
when he works for the
politics, 'cause we'll
government.
still have a government.
We'll just have to cover all of Canadian politics. We're going to learn so much about the provinces. We're going to know all the premiers.
Parliamentarian systems of government.
We're gonna get all into hockey and shit because there's literally no democracy happening here, so we have nothing to report.
Minnesota's already getting into that hockey, eh?
Here's what's going to happen. Mikey, because he's not white, is going to be declared an illegal immigrant and
true.
get deported.
That's accurate.
And,
Canada.
Oh, they're gonna come for me, and there's just gonna be a little fucking like a fucking pillowcase on a stick with a hat on it in this thing, and I've been streaming from a separate location the entire time.
That's right.
They're gonna come swat the room, and then there's just gonna be a camera looking at them like, "See, motherfuckers."
Mikey, if they ever do get you, just give them my phone number. I'll vouch for you. I'll say no, he belongs here. Then
here's the
that way
Canadian.
you don't get sent anywhere weird.
Can't get a hold of what you can't get a hold of. I'll be gone in the
Simply
wind.
Secular Dave says there's a Pizza Hut 290 meters or 950 feet from my address.
That's right.
All right, now I need to know the closest Pizza Hut to me, you bastards. All right.
Do not say that on the fucking broadcast.
Near me, there's only like Pizza Hut Express, like the Pizza Hut combined with like a Taco Bell or a KFC or whatever. I don't have
Those are,
real Pizza Huts near me.
Those are all part of the same company, the Yum Corporation.
The Yum Corporation, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them combined with Tim Hortons, and I've seen them combined with Subway.
A Pizza Hut combined with a Subway is wild.
Yo, I want a pepperoni foot long.
Well, it's two separate. It's the same business, but it's just separate locations.
Put the
right?
pizza in the Subway
together.
Oh no! Even better, reverse it. Build a sandwich on top of the pizza.
Now, see, how am I supposed to eat that? You sound crazy. Look at this.
You ever had
roll it all up, Mikey?
You ever
Roll
had
it all up.
salad pizza? Boy, we're getting way off topic.
Y'all,
I need to
off
tell
with
you
the
guys
food.
about the transition sandwich sometime.
We cannot talk about food
Listen.
on air anymore.
The girls are fighting, aren't they?
Yes, we are.
Let's go
Sorry,
to the
Roll that
I
shit.
assume is the last video.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
You heard what she said.
I'm living around, by the way. I don't know the population at all. No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people living around? 92 million. Okay. Yeah, how could you not know that?
Oh,
I don't sit around memorizing
Oh, okay, it's real.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government. Why is it relevant whether it's, because, it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant? Because if you don't know anything about the country... I didn't say I don't know anything about Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
What percent?
predominantly Shia. Okay,
No, it's not even. You don't know anything about Iran. So
Okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
The
girls are fighting, aren't they?
No, you
Wow.
don't. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out
I'm
if it was
saying
a good
you don't
idea to kill
believe-
General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe
we're
that,
carrying out military strikes today.
you said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Oh, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
My Zionist
Then
slipped
Israel's
out.
bombing.
Sorry.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
This is high
Israel.
stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Not tonight, Gina.
Does this mean there's no gut? Yes. You get a break from Gutfeld for a week.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Oh shit! Is that the? Oh no.
Oh, what happened?
Did we pick a bad clip?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me grab a different one.
All right. Good, because I got a fun poll.
Okay.
Hey Tim, find us some Gutfeld.
Oh yeah.
No.
You know, since it was brought up, I do have a Gutfeld clip.
Hold on, I got it right here. Hold on, it's right here. Right here. Oh God, this is a long interview.
Senator, thank you very much for spending
It
the
is
time.
a very long interview. That's why I found that shorter
So you
clip.
come
and I
out for
watched it
regime
with
change.
Trump.
Let's find out where it gets spicy. Syria.
No.
Oh, it's in the beginning. No way, it's in the beginning. Wow, there's a lot. Okay. We got here. Oh, wait. Is it listed down here? More. There we go. So here's the chapters.
Wow.
Why does Cruz want regime change in Iran? That's 6 minutes.
Oh, here we go. 1 hour 30, Mikey. Ted Cruz knows nothing about Iran and wants to destroy it anyway.
There we go.
To fallen. I would use economic sanctions and I would use moral suasion to try to effectuate
If you topple the regime and by whatever means, what happens then? How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah.
How could you not know that?
I don't.
I'm sorry. I love when they're dicks to each other.
How could you not know that?
Oh man. He used to be
Especially the fact I can think of so many Tucker Carlson clips that are just
I'm misleading you.
Yep.
him being Ted Cruz in this interview.
Yep. Exactly.
Where's Tucker live?
In
New York?
He lives in X.
Rich people houses.
Because I was about to say, wouldn't it be something like if he ran against him? Like if he moved to Texas or like against him because he like got all swollen his ego because he like like whooped him on this podcast. So he's like, you know what? Maybe I could do it.
He probably did live in New York because Fox News is based in New York City. God only knows where he was living in like a cabin in the woods when he was doing a show on X.
Next to Justin Timberlake.
Sit around
seems like he'd
memorizing
be in Florida.
population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's,
because
it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is
because
that
if
relevant?
you don't know anything about the country,
I didn't say I don't know anything about.
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
What percent?
predominantly Shia. Okay,
It's not even. You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay,
actually,
I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know
claims
anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out if it
saying
was a good
you don't
idea to kill
believe-
General Soleimani, and you said it was
don't
bad.
believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really
we
believe
are
that,
carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was
Right, with our help. I'm saying Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf.
You've activated my trap card.
Oh God!
We're not bombing them. Israel's bombing.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
This is high
Israel.
stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay, we are not bombing them.
Oh, okay.
Israel is bombing them. And hey, why do you do the snide?
With jets and bombs, we told them.
This is super high stakes stuff. This is a huge country that borders a lot of other important countries. A lot of the world's energy comes from there.
So
we
let me
you
ask
don't
you,
want
Tuck-
another
Tuck-
disaster. You don't want to be
Tucker,
reckless.
the Ayatollah refers to Israel as the little Satan and America as the
I
great
know.
Satan. Do you believe him when he says it's the great Satan? Do you think?
Of course I
Do
believe
you think if
him.
the Ayatollah could murder both of us right now that he would? I do. I believe him.
Okay.
Nobody make a joke about that. We're gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep going on.
Ayatollah.
No, not
and
good
if your
faith.
implication
No,
is like
it's not
I'm
good
pro
faith.
Ayatollah or something.
No, it's not good faith. It's that
Just saying you're a lawmaker. You're a powerful person in Washington. This is the most powerful country in the world. If you're calling for toppling in government, it's incumbent on you to know something about the country and to think through the consequences of that. And you haven't, and you don't. And I'm saying that's
I haven't
reckless.
thought. Okay, you are. You engage in reckless rhetoric with no facts. And to be clear,
I'm not calling for the
you put out
overthrow of a
newsletter-
government.
You put out a newsletter attacking Donald Trump and calling him complicit.
Never
I can
attacked
read you.
Donald Trump.
Yes, you have. And by
I
the way,
campaigned for Donald Trump.
Okay, yes,
And this is
and-
like
and-
after anti-Semitism, this is the last refuge. You're an anti-Semite and you hate Trump.
Okay, I will read. You put out a whole newsletter saying Trump has
All right.
abandoned America
You
first. Here's what
activated my
members-
Trump card.
Well, considering that I'm the one that developed America first, and considering that the term wasn't used until I came along, I think I'm the one who decides that. Look at you who say that you want peace. You can't have peace if Iran has a nuclear weapon. So for all of those wonderful people who don't want to do anything about Iran having a nuclear weapon, that's not peace. That was
Man.
directed at you.
Can we pause it for a second? Trump thinks that he came up with the term America first.
Yeah,
He
no.
also came up with "Make America Great Again."
Yeah,
America first was a term used by isolationists
yeah.
between the First and Second World Wars in America, who were collaborating with the Nazis. They were Nazi sympathizers. That's who came up with America first. Not Donald Trump. Although he's basically a fucking Nazi. So
And then it was reconstituted by Reagan in the 80s as Let's Make America Great Again, or LMAGA.
yeah. So he also thought he came up with the word equality or whatever. Like
Groceries. No one ever
brain
heard of
is
that word.
yeah.
Groceries.
His brain is fucking broken.
Here's $100 for eggs. My
Yo.
running mate, JD Vance, his kids, it's so much eggs.
They eat 28 eggs
Each, every morning.
God.
Next thing
Three
you know, he
large-
invented fire.
3 large quiches per kid.
So many quiches.
It smells like a
So
fucking
many
furnace
kids.
in here. The sulfur and the farts.
We heard Iran had all the quiches. That's why we're going.
The yellow cake might have been eggs whipped into a cake.
Oh my god.
I want to eat it.
Let's return to the girls fighting.
Busted.
Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh,
No, I'm just saying.
Look, my views.
He had that in his inside pocket. I'm dead, yo.
I like Trump. I campaigned for Trump. I know Trump. I talked to him last night. I'm not against Trump, and you know that.
But you're against his foreign policy.
I think that we should be very careful about entering into more foreign wars that don't help us when our country is dying.
When you say
and our
don't
country
help
is
us,
dying.
Look, yes, focus on our country. I'm all for it. But the naivete.
You don't even know how much money this costs. You don't know anything about the country whose government you want to overthrow, and you're calling me reckless.
I want to stop a lunatic who wants to murder us from getting nuclear weapons
Fair.
that could kill millions of Americans.
Fair.
You say, I can't see how that benefits America in any way. That is bizarre. And by the way,
bizarre.
Isolationism, your foreign policy is the foreign policy of Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama.
Oh, absolutely.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm a big leftist. Let me just silly. I'm Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama.
Get that in a clip?
Let me just say one last thing.
So how is your foreign policy?
Which one?
I'm a big leftist.
Yeah.
And Barack Obama. And it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm a big leftist.
Foreign policy of Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama.
Oh, absolutely.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm a big leftist. This is so silly. I'm Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama. Okay. Let me just say one last thing.
So how is your foreign policy different from Jimmy Carter's? Seriously,
please.
But I asked that question seriously.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Jimmy Carter?
So
what century is this? I am the product of the last 25 years, watching carefully, being involved in the periphery, and I see an unending string of foreign policy disasters that have impoverished and hurt our country.
Unending string.
Unending string. They would include Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, and our inability to stop the Houthis, by the way, in Yemen, which exposes us as big leftist. I grieve over that. So these are failures. You helped preside over some of them as a member of the Senate.
What failures, foreign policy failures, have I presided over?
Well, we were unable to beat Russia in the war that you supported against Russia. You've been spending the last 3 years telling us that Vladimir Putin is evil and we're going to beat him with other people's children, and 1 million of those kids are now dead. You've never apologized for that. That was a full failure.
By the way, look, the level of number of falsehoods you lay out just in one statement
they're going at it.
Supported the war against Russia?
Are rather stunning. So the war against Russia was caused, which I have explained at great detail, by Joe Biden's weakness.
But you supported the war.
If you want to talk, we can talk Russia and Ukraine. I'm happy to talk about it.
Do you think that's been a success?
No, it's been an absolute disaster.
Okay, but you supported it. Shouldn't you apologize?
No,
it's actually been a success, right?
Yeah,
Russia hasn't won.
Apologize. So I'm gonna.
No one ever says I'm sorry.
Or do you just throw out you? If you want to talk, we can talk.
Okay, I do. I want to know why that seems like a true disaster for the United States. You have supported it.
Do you believe Joe Biden's weakness caused the war in Ukraine?
I think Joe Biden's aggression caused it.
His aggression? What aggression?
He demanded that Ukraine join NATO. How does that help the United States?
It is a terrible idea, and I have vigorously opposed Ukraine joining NATO.
Okay, so that's what caused the war.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Sorry, had to get her. Should I keep going?
Go a little bit further because they are tearing into each other.
I could watch.
Did you want to know what caused the war?
Put it in slow-mo. Zoom in. Enhance.
Tell me about Ukraine.
You do the dismissive. You're not actually interested in facts. You're like, okay.
Okay, tell me. It seems super obvious. You're absolutely right, and I'm sorry. That is a tick of mine that is wrong, and I mean this with sincerity. I'm sorry to do that to you. I just think it seems so obvious that sending Kamala Harris to the NATO Security Conference to say you're going to join NATO is what triggered the invasion days later.
Okay, so can I? This will take a few minutes to lay out because it's complicated, but I think the facts matter. I think two things caused the war in Ukraine. Number one, I think Biden's incredible weakness and the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Now, I believe we need to leave Afghanistan, but not with the incompetence that led to 13 servicemen and women being murdered by terrorists there. The way Biden did that was disastrous, and I think our enemies looked to the commander in chief and said, "This president is weak." And when that withdrawal was so disastrous, I said publicly at the time, the chances of Putin invading Ukraine have just risen tenfold.
Right.
But secondly, and this is critically important.
Well, I agree.
That Labrador face.
The withdrawal.
and it was a major cause of our enemies all said, hey, this president is weak. And so it invited, and by the way, look,
even though it was Trump's plan.
War, and I think weakness and isolationism produces war because it invites aggression from our bad guys. It's why I agree with Ronald Reagan's peace through strength. The best way you avoid war is being strong enough that your enemies don't want to mess with you. But let's get back to Ukraine and Russia. Look, Putin didn't wake up 2 years ago and decided he wanted to invade Ukraine. He's wanted to invade Ukraine for decades. Putin has referred to the collapse of the Soviet Union as, quote, the greatest geopolitical disaster of the 20th century. And Putin has long been explicit. His desire is to reassemble the old Soviet Union and, in fact, reassemble the Russian Empire that was even bigger than that. If you want to reassemble the Soviet Union, the natural place to start is Ukraine.
Do you really believe that Putin has territorial designs on Eastern Europe?
Yes.
What countries?
He has said that you can go and read his. Hold on. I don't want to lose the narrative of what happened. So we
he
can
doesn't know. He doesn't know which countries. I can name them. Can you?
So let me. explain this, and then if you want to go back, we
Estonia,
can
Latvia,
all sorts of
Lithuania,
digressions, but just
Poland,
give me a couple
Belarus,
minutes to lay out the
Ukraine,
facts of what happened.
Hungary.
You guys are making like comments, but you're not doing it over the volume of the video. So I'm gonna need you to say that again.
Oh, Ted Cruz doesn't know, but Mark apparently does.
Yeah, I know. Estonia, Lithuania, Poland, Belarus, Ukraine, probably Slovakia, Hungary, Georgia, potentially Well, and if you don't stop him there, he'll keep going. Like Finland, Macedonia. You could argue Greece because they're still mad that they funded the communist side of their civil war and lost. Yugoslavia, they never liked Tito.
Well,
I could continue.
I did this. Why can't you?
He has wanted to invade Ukraine a long time. And he's done it before. In 2014, he invaded Ukraine, invaded Crimea. When Barack Obama was president, he invaded the southern portion. He did not invade the rest of the country. Why? And the reason is the principal source of revenue for Russia is oil and gas, and the natural gas pipelines run right through the country of Ukraine. And he didn't want to jeopardize his ability to get gas to Europe.
Right.
So in 2015, Putin started a project called Nord Stream 2.
Did anything happen in 2014?
In terms of what?
Wasn't there a coup in Ukraine run by the Obama administration?
Let me finish.
What?
We'll take lots of digressions. Let me finish telling the narrative.
Pause this, Mikey. I love Tucker Carlson just throwing in conspiracy bombs and being like, wasn't there a coup in 2014 orchestrated by the Obama administration?
How about a little fire, Scarecrow?
He just loves throwing people off their game. Like that's all he does. He just didn't Obama cause it?
Raphael is thoroughly perplexed. He's like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
What is going on?
For half a second, I thought Ted Cruz was going to say he didn't invade the rest of Ukraine because Obama was a strong president.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, he's not going to say it. No, I'm not going to say that.
It's telling the narrative. 2015, Putin began building Nord Stream 2. Nord Stream 2 is an undersea pipeline that runs from Russia to Germany. The entire purpose of Nord Stream 2 is when it was completed and turned on, it would let Russia circumvent Ukraine and get its gas straight to Europe. In 2019, Nord Stream 2 was almost complete. And the conventional wisdom in Washington
Did I not go back far enough?
was this is terrible, but there's nothing we can do about it. I didn't believe that. So I drafted sanctions legislation that was targeted to stop the pipeline. My legislation passed the Senate with overwhelming bipartisan support. It passed the House, and Donald Trump signed it in law.
Why wouldn't you want Germany to have cheap energy?
Because
why do you hate Germany?
So is there a specific reason you hate the Germans? Or...
Yeah, Ted Bundy doesn't like Germany.
Tucker Carlson is the ultimate fucking troll. So why do you hate all Germans?
Yeah.
Ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it.
Our enemy's weaker and our friends stronger.
Has blowing up Nord Stream made Germany stronger?
What is this interview?
Yo, I love when they interview each other. This is the best.
Not being dependent on Russia has made Germany stronger.
So you think Germany is stronger now than it was 4 years ago?
I think not being dependent on Russia. Germany has all sorts of problems, and many of them are domestic to their own politics. Hold on, let me finish. I'm trying to.
No, but what you're saying, it doesn't. Germany seems so much weaker now that its energy costs have spiked and the manufacturing sector is collapsing because of that.
Let me finish. I'm focused on America's interest. I don't want Russia stronger because
he's using his powers for evil at this point.
He is.
He's
okay.
Tucker's pulling an S tier right here just for fucking with Ted Cruz.
Tucker's knocking out the bricks and just saying, okay, Let's see when Ted Cruz is going to fall over.
He's Jenga towering him.
He's just
Keep the chair. The leg will break eventually. It's fine.
it's all trap cards. That's all he's got is a deck full of trap cards. And he's just like
No monsters, no offense, no defense, just traps.
Trap cards.
you
Trap hole. Trap hole. Trap hole.
Leave Russia.
You've activated my trap card. Why do you hate the Germans?
Why do you hate
Because our enemy.
No, I think the Obama caused the coup in 2014 is still the better trap card.
On that. We can talk about that. But I want our enemies weaker. I don't want to go to war with Russia, but I want our enemies weaker. I don't want Europe dependent on Russia. I don't want Putin rich with oil and gas revenues and able to invest in his military and pose a threat to America. So the sanctions legislation that I authored, it passed. Putin stopped building Nord Stream 2 literally the day that President Trump signed my sanctions legislation into law. He signed it, if I remember right, at 7 p.m. on a Thursday. Putin stopped construction at 6:45 p.m. So the sanctions legislation worked, and it killed the pipeline. The pipeline lay dormant.
So you hate the Germans.
For over a year. Just a hunk of metal at the bottom of the ocean. Joe Biden came into office. He was sworn in on January 20th, 2021. Putin resumed deep sea construction of Nord Stream 2.
It was a small interruption. You were there for that, Raphael. Remember when you were asking for 10 days to wait in the sea and let everything calm down? And why do we have to certify right now? Remember that, Raphael? Fucking rat insurrectionist bitch.
4 days later, January 24th. He did so because Biden had foreshadowed weakness on this issue. That foreshadowing was accurate because several months later, Biden formally waived the sanctions on Nord Stream 2 and let Putin complete the pipeline. In January of 2022, I forced a vote on the Senate floor to reimpose sanctions on Nord Stream 2. The week of the vote, President Zelensky in Ukraine publicly called on the Senate, please pass this sanctions legislation. It is the last best hope of stopping Russia from invading Ukraine. At the same time, the government of Poland put out a formal statement from the foreign ministry to the Senate, calling on the Senate to pass my sanctions legislation. And
why do you hate Poland?
Putin will invade Ukraine.
Reasons.
The day of the vote, Joe Biden came to Capitol Hill. It's the first time in his presidency he had done that. He went to the Democrat senators' lunch, and he personally lobbied them on this issue, not any other issue. This was his number one issue that he came to lobby them on. They came out of that lunch. Every Democrat had voted with me twice against Nord Stream 2. 44 Democrats flipped their vote. They voted in favor of Russia, in favor of Putin, and 4 weeks later, Russia invaded Ukraine. That was the direct cause of the war. And if Trump had been president, there would be no war in Ukraine.
So may I ask, I, of course, disagree with your analysis completely, but I want to be respectful.
It's going to be the trolliest fucking thing ever.
It's such a long conversation. I've spent.
He's so dismissive. And this is the thing, like Cruz is so used to being the smarmy asshole. And then this is the wooden dummy. You know what I mean? So as hard as you hit it, it still is going to hit you right back.
All right, let's give Tucker his reply and then we'll do the review.
Everything you said was wrong. Go.
Want to be respectful.
Okay.
And
so tell me what you disagree with.
It's such a long conversation. I've spent the last couple of years on this, and I just respectfully disagree with your analysis, but I don't doubt your sincerity that you believe that Putin is our enemy, that Western Europe should not be allowed to use Russian energy. I mean, you seem to really believe these.
Oh, wait, this is a soundbite that is pretty good.
There would be no war in Ukraine.
So may I ask, I, of course, disagree with your analysis completely, but I want to be respectful.
Okay.
And
so tell me what you disagree with.
It's such a long conversation. I've spent the last couple of years on this, and I just respectfully disagree with completely, but I want to be respectful.
Okay.
And
so tell me what you disagree with.
Your analysis completely, but may I ask, I, of course, disagree with your analysis completely, but I want to be respectful.
Okay.
And
so tell me what you disagree with.
Got it.
It's such a long conversation. I've spent the last couple of years on this, and I just respectfully disagree with your analysis, but I don't doubt your sincerity that you believe that Putin is our enemy, that Western Europe should not be allowed to use Russian energy. I mean, you seem to really believe these things. My question is about results, because I think it's relevant to what we're seeing now in Iran. you look back after having you personally voted to send billions and billions and billions of U.S. tax dollars to Zelensky to support his civil service and the war against Russia and all this stuff.
Weapons, not
and
tax
you
dollars.
say that what you did worked.
So I can say what I did personally, sanctioning Nord Stream 2 worked and prevented a war. And if Trump had still been there, if the sanction had been in effect, there would be no war. I'm in favor of avoiding wars.
But once the war broke out, you voted to fund it to the tune of billions and billions and billions.
And to be clear.
And did that work?
Okay, to be clear, what I voted for the initial tranche of funding, and then I voted against the subsequent one. So it hasn't worked. So I've been in between. I haven't been on the full Ukraine.
Why are you flip-flopping?
Or the anti from day one. I voted for the initial tranche of funding because I wanted Russia to lose. I think the Biden administration administered it in a horrible way. I think they wasted a ton of money. And I think what they did was actually incoherent because they were funding both sides of the war. I was very vocal.
What?
Among other things, flooding $100 million to Iran, which was used, among other things, to help the nuclear program, but also to make drones that Russia used to fight.
So here's my concern. I'm not going to defend the Biden administration. Really did a lot to wreck the United States.
Yeah, did the most damaging administration
at the end,
in history.
where we sit now, Russia is stronger. It's closely allied long-term with China.
I don't know that Russia's stronger. I don't think that's right.
I think it's
They're
pretty obvious
paying me
that it
very
is.
well.
But it's actually not destroyed. And it's allied long-term with China.
Maybe. That there's no doubt Biden's foreign policy drove Russia into the arms of China, and that's concerning. They also have a long history of animosity.
Western Europe is weaker and more in debt. The United States is weaker and much more in debt.
Look,
hold on. So you and I
are agreeing
Biden,
on a lot.
We're agreeing. Here's my question: have you questioned any of your previous assumptions? Did you play any role in this at all? Are you responsible at all?
Of course.
Oh my God!
What have you learned?
Of like you.
I can't stop watching.
Your mind.
Yeah,
I voted for the first funding of the Ukraine war, and I voted against every subsequent funding stream because it wasn't working. And I looked at what was happening and said, this is not working. And had the money been spent in an intelligent way and not wasted, and had it been successful, I might have been willing to fund more. But it wasn't successful, so I voted no. And the war is going to end. Look, President Trump campaigned on ending the war. I think he's frustrated because
hasn't ended.
Has been less than eager to reach a deal to end the war, but it's going to end. You're not going to see another
Do you
dollar
think
coming from
Zelensky
Congress.
wants to end the war?
Keep going, because I want to hear the answer to this question.
I think Zelensky has behaved horribly. I think his Oval Office meeting will go down in history as the worst Oval Office meeting of any leader that has ever come to the Oval Office. I think he behaved like a pompous ass. And I think he is unrealistic. I think Zelensky spends his time with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer in the New York Times, and he believed he was going to the Oval Office as a resist figure. And I think he's doing real damage to his country right now.
You described him many times as a hero.
I don't recall ever using the word hero. I will say,
Tucker, get a clip or something, man. Come on.
I'm not in the business of saying everyone we support has to be a saint and everyone we oppose has to be a villain. I'm not in the morality game. I'm in the US interest game.
Morality game.
Why did I want Nord Stream 2 stopped? Because it would strengthen Russia, and Russia's our enemies. It's entirely U.S. interest.
Did you support the industrial sabotage against it, blowing it up?
So I think you believe America did that. Is that right?
Of course.
Okay, I think the chances of that are zero.
You think Russia did it?
No,
Russia.
I think Ukraine did it. Okay. So I don't know. So I don't know who did it. In terms of the theories that have been put out there, the idea that Russia blew up their own pipeline never made any sense to me at all. That just I can't even articulate why they would do that. The idea that Biden did that. Look, I could see it being in U.S. interest to do that, to blow up Nord Stream 2. I just think Biden was too weak. I don't believe Joe Biden.
But are you in? I guess you in.
So that leads
the Norwegians, the Ukrainians, NATO, whatever.
Look, that leads me to you know who benefits, and it leads me to think that the Ukrainians blew it up or Ukraine's allies. I don't think Biden did because Biden was so weak. I don't think he would give the order. I find that
I think that's
of it.
Look, I was in favor of.
I think we've gone on long enough.
My brain hurts.
Oh boy!
Brain
It was just
What
one
did
of
we
those
watch,
things.
half an hour of that?
You can't
That
look
was
away.
10 minutes.
That was 10 minutes.
Felt like an hour.
It's been about 4 years, Ollie. It's 2029.
That was wild. And we're going to do the Zodiac Killer first. So Ted Cruz content.
Rafael Cruzico.
Garbage. More
Hot
garbage.
pineapple garbage.
Yeah. Solid F's, maybe a pineapple in there someplace.
Oh, by the way, I put a poll in the chat asking who they thought won, and overwhelmingly they thought Tucker won.
Yeah.
How you lose to Tucker?
Yeah.
His name is fucking Tucker, dude. It's a dog name.
Delivery for the senator.
Yeah, F.
Oh.
I think we can just go ahead and F these boys. Yeah. And well, I think Cruz, can we just go F across the board?
I think we can.
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll F him. Because
D plus for Tucker
Ollie's
Carlson
crashing.
for breaking his brain.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Tucker on content. That was the trolliest fucking shit I've ever seen.
He was.
He had all his trap cards ready too.
Right.
He set them up bad.
I'm gonna
He
give
had
him
like 9 traps.
I'm gonna give him a D on content. Like, it's all conspiracy theory nonsense, but he really fucked with Ted Cruz.
He did.
Well, but also some of it was not like conspiracy theories. Like, you called Zelensky a hero. You don't think he's a hero anymore?
He was.
So I don't remember saying things.
I don't remember saying that.
He was fact checking Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz wasn't prepared for that.
No, I'm giving him a C minus. Like, I'm elevating him a little bit, just for
content. Yeah, he solid D plus C minus, I guess.
Delivery for Tucker Carlson.
He was pretty sharp.
D for annoying.
Yeah. I think his ceiling on this is a D, because he also like just makes the
asshole.
dumbest faces.
First,
And he has like
completely, but I want to be respectful.
Okay. And yeah, he's just a smarmy fuck. They both are. They both are.
He is.
Big leftist.
Presentation for Tux. Can we put him up on the screen again real quick? See what he looks like.
He's got a little herpes flare up.
I mean, it's standard Tucker Carlson.
Standard, yep.
Yeah.
C.
I hate his hair.
C minus. I don't know. That's fine.
And
vibes. I was cheering for him a couple of times. I got to be honest with you.
Listen. This is the one that I thought was going to get weird, right?
The cheerful pineapple. Is that a category?
It's Tucker Carlson, but he was going after Ted Cruz.
He was all over him.
Well, this is This is the Ben Shapiro going after Trump all over again.
Or when this guy.
That's over. There are plenty of things that are bad and wrong, but it doesn't make them fascist.
When Ben Shapiro was arguing with him, not knowing that he was also right wingers, was like, I don't know what I'm so conflicted.
He was out there like delivering body blows.
He was.
He didn't hold nothing back. He's like, why do you hate all the Germans? Are you a Russian sympathizer? Even though Tucker Carlson is a Russian sympathizer. But
you love Barack Obama.
Here's the cuckiest thing of this whole thing. This is 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which means they probably did 2 and some change and they edited some of, you know what I mean? So you sat down for 2+ hours and let Tucker Carlson fillet you.
Oh, well, that might not have happened until that last half an hour.
He didn't even take control of the interview once.
No.
He was just at Tucker's will.
He was on the back foot the entire time.
Yeah.
He might not have saw it coming at all.
But you still can't handle fucking Tucker? How can you not handle Tucker?
You can't handle the truth.
Tucker's Carlson's 2 moves are yelling over you and just asking you nonstop questions. Those are his 2 moves.
Obscure fucking conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
He threw that curveball. Let me see if I can find how his face looked. He was like, huh? Where'd it go?
The Obama administration orchestrated a coup in 2014. Okay, sure.
Yeah. That made him do a double take.
That was he paused for a solid second there. It was like, what?
What did you just say?
And apparently
I
Biden just
I assume no good faith on the part of
Let me see if I can find it.
and Biden like caused the war.
Yeah, Biden caused the invasion.
I mean, they both agree on that one because they're like, oh yeah, he was a weak president. But like, I don't know, man. He's like, I agree with you, Ted Cruz, but you're still a fucking asshole. Like, that's the kind of tone he had the whole time.
Well, I don't really want to tell you all the things you got wrong. I don't really have a lot of time, but
yeah, he was
But I
like,
will
oh,
say you're awful and wrong about everything.
this is a very long conversation. I want to be respectful, but you're a fucking idiot. Like, that's the kind of, oh my God. I'm going to give him a C on vibes. I think he was using his powers for good, kind of, in a really weird roundabout way.
Powers for good.
Like the enemy of my enemy, I guess.
Is still an asshole.
He's still an asshole, but boy, did he really give it to Ted Cruz, and someone should have.
He can have his last election today because he beat up another bully on the playground.
We all cheered for him while he beat up the bully, even though we all hate him too.
I mean, we're gonna boo him as soon as the fight's over.
Right.
He's right back on the shit list.
Listen, it's like in wrestling when two heels fight each other. You hate them both, but you cheer for the one that's winning.
Undertaker. Right. Do we have some ranking changes there, Tim?
We do. I gotta take a good look at this board on a day that's not right now, but the bottom hasn't really changed. The top 5 for the bottom is still Trump, Elon, Peterson, RFK, and Gutfeld.
I want to stop a lunatic who wants to murder us from getting nuclear weapons that could kill millions of Americans. You say, I can't see how that benefits America in any way. That is bizarre. And by the way, isolationism, your foreign policy is the foreign policy of Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama.
Oh, absolutely.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm a big leftist. And now I'm Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama. Okay. Let me just say one last thing.
So how is your foreign policy different from Jimmy Carter's? Seriously, please. But I asked that question seriously.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Jimmy Carter?
So
what century is this? I am the product of the last 25 years, watching carefully, being involved in the periphery, and I see an unending string of foreign policy disasters that have impoverished and hurt our country.
Unending string.
Unending string. They would include Afghanistan, Iraq.
Anyway,
they're just yelling at each
I
other.
can't even lock back in to try and find the spot now.
So the top 5, the best of the best.
From Universal Studios,
we got a couple of changes here. So number 5 is currently still Bernie. Number 4, Representative Underwood.
Got that.
Number 3.
WTF?
So here's where the changes start. So number 3 is Senator Klobuchar.
Those uppity women now.
Yes. And she should have been there for a couple of weeks, but I missed the math on that.
Way to go.
Convenient. Minnesota rep.
Sexist pig.
So actually, that knocks Bernie out. So, all right. So Bernie is not out of the top 5 if Klobuchar is in there.
Get the jobs that we white people used to have.
So it's going to go. Number 5 is Representative Underwood. Number 4 is Senator Klobuchar. Number 3 is Jasmine Crockett.
I don't like Elon Musk. I'm going to say it 50,000 times.
And then number 2 is now Senator Duckworth.
She's not on there. But go ahead.
Oh, Senator Duckworth. And then
we're
President.
We're laying in the plane.
President Duckworth.
And then finally, number 1, the GOAT, Connecticut Representative John Larson.
Hold on. I got it.
Shame. Shame.
Shame!
Oh, Jesus.
Shame.
Shame!
I have a question about the math. So
Yeah.
Duckworth got all.
No, because he's about to fall asleep. All right, bottom 5.
Okay.
The bottom 5 hasn't changed. It goes Trump, Elon, Peterson, RFK, and then Gutfeld.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show, everybody.
We love you.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Go to Patreon, patreon.com/spinpodcast. Become a member on YouTube. Go do it right now.
I look back at the headlights. I'm like, that's not supposed to be there.